Chief, what can you tell us about the flames and the fire that we're seeing right now?
The fire alarm dispatched this at about 6:54. Firefighters were on the scene in 6 minutes. 4:54, I'm sorry. At 4:54, firefighters were on the scene at about 5:01. And what they found here was a fire already involved in this warehouse, and they began to attack it. Unfortunately, the fire had progressed pretty far ahead of them. You got a very large two-story warehouse here with no fire protection. In other words, no built-in systems, which is, you know, what you want in these type of buildings to help keep it in check and prevent this from happening, what we have here. So unfortunately, it's at this point, it's a fairly large fire due to the type of construction, a bow truss type of construction, which has is prone to early collapse, or, you know, once it's exposed to fire. So we're not putting any firefighters in the building right now. At this point, we're trying to make sure it stays contained to this structure. There's no buildings very close to it, but there are some, you know, just across a parking area. So at this point, we're positioning units to try and keep this thing in check at this building it's in right now.
And is this building the only thing that's on fire?
This is the only thing. Is this one large building. It's got several businesses in it. There's three, the owners are on scene. They said there's 3 different businesses in here, and a heavy fire load inside, so there's a lot of furniture in this building. And at this point, we're really trying to make sure that you know, there's no life threat right now, because no one was in the building, and we're trying to keep it that way and make sure everyone's safe.
This was just such a massive fire.
It is, because of the type of building and what we call the fire load inside all the furniture. It is a very large fire, unfortunately, and losing some businesses here.
And where do you guys go from here?
At this point, you know, try to get the fire out and make sure no one gets hurt.
How many units do you have out here, Chief? This is a large fire.
At this point, it's a 3-alarm fire. We have 17 units. Is that correct, Mike? 18 units out here. About 60 firefighters.
Nobody hurt, as we understand it?
Nobody hurt, and the owners confirmed that no one was in the building. When the firefighters first got here, the building had a good bit of fire on the right-hand side in the back, in the corner. It allowed firefighters to get into the other parts of the warehouse and do a search for it very quickly. There was some living quarters in here, but they were unoccupied, and they confirmed that nobody was in there. The owners then confirmed that after they got here that no one was in the building.
You know, just standing here watching, it just seems like this is the kind of building where just about the time you think you have it out in one, it pops up in another area.
Very difficult. The warehouse is always very hard because of the amount of space you have, and then this is cut up into 2 floors. So you have, you know, fire was above them, and obviously in the warehouse with a lot of furniture. There's a furniture warehouse. So it is very difficult fire to fight, and very difficult to try and get your arms around it.
Do you know what businesses were in here? You said 3?
We know that there was a furniture business in here, and there was a shirt place, a place that manufactured shirts, or at least you know, distributed shirts. And we were told a bicycle. We're getting some conflicting reports as to whether they were still in here or not, but a bicycle shop.
You know, the furniture poses an entirely different kind of problem because you don't know necessarily what's exactly burning when you guys go in. Well,
you can assume when you have furniture, you got a lot of wood, and you have a lot of petroleum-based products, which cause another whole issue. So yeah, there's what we call a heavy fire load that really contributes to the problem.
So when will you let your guys go in there?
We probably won't let them go in until we have this fire where we know there's no potential for collapse, because that's what you see right now is this type of construction. It's called a truss construction, where you have lightweight metal members holding up the roof and everything, and once they get exposed, they distort and collapse fairly easily, and catastrophic type collapses.
Have the guys been using the hoses from the ground, or is it just from the ladders as of right now?
We have some hand lines working, and we have some aerial streams working. So,
not to make you retrace steps, so we're live now. What are we looking at here? I know 3 businesses, maybe 2, maybe 3 businesses.
What we have here, once again, is we had the firefighters got the call at about 4:54. They were on the scene shortly after 5 o'clock. Discovered fire in a warehouse in one of the back corners of it. Unfortunately, the fire had spread to other parts of the building. They searched the building to ensure that there weren't people inside the building. And at this point, they are just trying to make sure that there's no, at this point, that no one gets hurt. Keep the building, the fire confined to this one building, and ensure that there's no life safety issues at this point.
And do you know who called 911? How do you guys find out about it?
I do not know how the call came in exactly at this time.
Bottom line is it's contained to this area.
It is. It does appear to be contained just to this one building, although it's a very large building cut up into 3 businesses, and our goal is to keep it contained to this one business.
All right, Chief, thank you very much.
Or one building.
How long does it take you guys to knock something like this down?
It could be quite a few hours before we get this thing under control, and we'll probably be out here almost the majority of the morning, I can tell you that.
And then when do you find out what happened, how it started?
Well, investigators are already on the scene, with the goal of trying to, getting here early, and you can kind of see where the fire progresses and where it started from, and start talking to people and see if we can figure out where and what started it, actually.
All right,
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Chief?
No, thank you. At this point, I appreciate y'all coming out and helping us get the word out. Obviously, traffic is going to be affected out here on Jeff Davis, so we urge people to avoid this area.
Is it just Jefferson Davis, or what are the other streets that you guys are closing?
Jeff Davis is the only street that's really avoided right now. The fire's on Toulouse, so it's not a heavily trafficked street due to the construction and the fact that there's just some warehouse businesses at this point. But yeah, asking people to avoid this area around Bayou St. John and Jeff Davis would be beneficial.
And how long do you think these fire trucks are going to be here that you close Jefferson Davis?
For the morning.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, Chief. But you heard it.